Well,
Good, we'll put Katie right in the middle of the picture. All right, well, we're going to call this workshop to order. Lou George is out ill. I think it's that time of season if we're all going to probably catch something or the other, this changing of the temperatures. Really, we have nothing scheduled on the agenda. Jean was out today also, so we removed the blighted property because we wanted to have the whole board to be part of that discussion. But I have about 5 things. It's a general discussion time. What I'll do is I'll run through my 5 items and maybe comments or discuss them a little bit, and then we're going to open up the floor to you because I know you have some questions or comments too.
I do.
So the one thing I just really wanted to touch about, kind of give the board an update on where we're at with the Elkton Armory. The best that I can understand is that if I feel we've never officially voted on it, but I think the consensus of this board is that we're going to move forward with the Elkton Armory. And everything that I've been reading through the emails, through Lewis's emails and attaching to us, is that the earliest that the town would be able to take settlement, it appears, would be in September of 2019. And that's because the facility that they're moving to won't be finished until that date. And my understanding of, because I'm getting a lot of questions ever since the article was in the paper, which was a great article, was that how this kind of fell to the town of Elkton is that my understanding is that any state office would have had first dibs at it. Once they all said no, we didn't want it, then it goes to the county, and the county did their due diligence, and with the historic easement being placed on the property, it really didn't meet their needs. So now it falls to the town of Elkton, which I feel extremely comfortable to say that we're going to move forward with and acquire that property. And if we don't move forward with it, then it falls into the hands of a nonprofit as the next opportunity for it. Then I think after, if there was no nonprofits that came forward with it, then it would fall to, I guess, a general auction for anyone out there. But there's another step before it would make it to where the public could even have an opportunity to acquire the Armory. Since that article's been in the paper, I just wanted the board to know that there's been many organizations that have contacted me about ideas and what we could do with it. I think, once again, I think it's extremely, and I've told them it's been a little premature for us to really discuss something that we don't have yet, even though I know we're moving forward with it. But there's been some very unique concepts. One in particular, there's without saying the organization, but there's an opportunity to bring a national organization here that would want to take the whole facility, and it would attract tens of thousands of people a year into our community. Those are the things I like to hear.
Right.
You know, I like to hear those things.
Right.
And I think at some point, I think that organization, once again, I'm not going to share openly who that is. I don't think it's right for them. But I think that they're going to be coming in front of our town board to discuss this in the upcoming weeks. So it'll be out for them to make us aware. So is there any discussion any more on the Armory? Am I on target with what I'm saying?
I think you're on target, but the one thing from my own knowledge, if we were not to take it, who would orchestrate a nonprofit to get it? Would that be the county?
That's a good question.
I would think the state.
Probably the state of Maryland would determine it.
Is in charge of everything.
So essentially, the Army is a state building.
It is a state building.
We straight down. I just was curious.
Yeah.
Well, just for the record, I would say that I think we should use the Army for solely our own purpose because we need space for everything and anything we need to deal with right in the town. Space is limited. So through the school board now, they shut down a lot of facilities that was going to be able to use for our program. And now they started a after-school program for the kids, and time is that of value. So,
Okay.
Well, I spoke with that organization, Mayor speaking with as well, and I think once everyone hears it, it is a great idea for the town as far as economic development. And I know the building does have to pay for itself. So we're going to have to be creative in what we do. And it's a big building to be creative in.
That's for sure. So the next discussion, a little bit that was on my agenda, was the community center. Just wanted to give everyone, just so we're all on the same page where we're at. On November the 27th, we will be receiving our bids back to know what the actual cost of construction for the community center. And I think that we're all excited about that. We've been able to secure $800,000 from the grant, and we also had $500,000 that's already been put aside for the community center. So we've got $1.3 million of the money spoken for toward building that new site. I think we're all pretty excited about that, and I'm excited to see where these numbers come in at. I know my estimate's always been a little on the low side compared to what the engineers have been telling us, but I still have my fingers crossed that there's, out of the, was there 15 or 16? Do you know the actual number?
I don't know, I don't have that.
I'm up around 16.
Yeah, I think it's like 16 bidders.
Wow, I think it's something.
It's a great sign. Now, I think a couple of them left the meeting and they basically said that no, they couldn't do this for $2.5 million. But let's see what they bring to us. So I think that's going to be an exciting day in Elkton when we're opening up those plans. Any other comments on the community center?
So that'll be the
you're
first.
usually pretty good with numbers, that's all I know.
All right, we're going to make it happen. We're going to get that down to where it's very little.
I just think that the community center will add another dimension to the town. You know, we keep looking at what we can do for others, kids to adults, but I know with the way the world is going now, I know there's a lot of organizations that are trying to do things out there for the kids, even the Board of Education is going to try to offer an elementary program. So we're just going to fit into the picture of being able to do and help as well with
Yes.
everyone.
Item number 3, I just wanted to bring up to everybody to see what their feelings were. Christmas Eve, well, Christmas Eve is on a Monday this year, and that is a town holiday. New Year's Eve is on a Monday, and it's not a town holiday. I'd like to ask the town's opinion of, let's shut down the town on that Monday.
I'm with you. And I know somebody must approach you.
Of
We've all been approached.
Yes.
But it's a good idea.
Well, listen, if it was on a, if it would have been on a Wednesday, then I would say no. But with it falling on a Monday,
Yes.
it gives a 4-day weekend to our employees, and I've already checked with Steve Repo at Finance. There's not going to be any conflicts with water bills or shut-offs, anything that would require town staff to be here. Now, we do have a little challenge with our police are always on call anyhow, and we'll make it up to them in some way or the other.
And certainly Steve would promote it because that includes him. And
Yes.
yourself.
Well,
I'm
just
happy
for
him.
interest of the people in my office, not me personally.
Oh, no.
Good. Well, just make department
Like you
heads.
work by yourself.
Okay. Yeah, say that.
You work by yourself that day.
If I say that.
So that's good. Everyone,
Yeah.
the next thing I had, just real quickly, was we advertised for a park and rec board, and we also all brought names together. I'm actually pretty happy that we've not only, I think the 5 that we kind of solicited for, I think we've got another 4 or 5 other people in the community that have interest of participating on the Parks and Rec Board. So that's very exciting that there is interest in wanting to develop programming for our town. Pretty excited.
So let's see where that goes with the first 5. And at the end of the year, offer the next 5, just for new ideas.
I agree with you.
And have them as a rotating group.
And there's nothing wrong with having 5 members and alternates.
I'd really say, yeah, that's good, Robbie.
We could
Have it all, because
Yeah.
sometimes you don't want to lose people.
Yeah, so you could have an alternate that would always fill in, and I think we can, because anyone that volunteers to serve on any board, you want to keep them. Very excited about that.
So the Senate coming, we're gonna need some more ideas.
We will.
anyway.
Yeah. And the kind of the last thing that was on my mind, I sent out an email to the board. I would like to do a survey, and I did get input back from everybody. And Michelle helped create kind of the, it's right here in front of you, kind of a spreadsheet. I want to know how the town of Elkton is doing. I don't know the last time that we ever sent a survey out to the residents of the town of Elkton, but I think it's important for, we have a public meeting the first and third Wednesday of every month, and we have a workshop on the second Wednesday of every month, but based on time constraints, family, work issues, they can't get in and maybe express their opinion, good, bad, or indifferent. But I want to try to make it, and I think everyone here feels this way, we want to make our town the best it can be. And I think the only way we can do that is if we can get feedback from the residents of the community. And my thought was we can do this online. We could also put it in the next community guide. So there won't be any additional mailing costs. We could put it in the community guide. But some of the, for example, I threw the one out there. Under Public Works, one of the questions would be, the quality of our trash recycling service. You're giving us 1 star, 2 star, 3 star, 4 star, or 5 stars. And make a comment. Do we respond to your inquiries in a timely manner? I want to find out about finance. I want to find out about administration. I want to find about policing, building inspector's office. I want to find out about our elected officials. Do they know who the elected officials are? Do we respond to their needs? I think it's. I think it would be a good tool for us to have, and it, like you said, you said it best. Self-reflect. We need to know. We need to know how we're doing. We think we're doing great, but it's always good to hear it from someone else. And sometimes when you don't see anyone at the meetings, it tells you that you're probably doing a pretty good job. Or they're saying they don't listen anyhow. Now they can do it. And everyone agree with that, or we good with that?
I definitely do. And my one question, because we have the one sheet, is it going to be all the departments? And you said yes.
Yes. And I think if there's any specific, I'm gonna help try to create the questions.
Yeah, there needs to be some more line items.
Yes, but I want everyone. This is just kind of the format that we were looking at to make it so simple. Now here's the other question, and I don't know if it would be a good, bad, or good or bad. Is that a lot of times with surveys, if you offer something, people fill out the surveys. Should we offer, if you fill out the survey, we give you a dinner in Elkton? Not for everybody, but we make a drawing, so hopefully we could get a lot of response. Just a thought.
Yeah, that would entice some people.
It might entice them, because I can tell you, I get surveys all the time because I fill them out, and I think once you fill one out, you get more and more and more. But I found that they put $1 in every envelope now. I don't know if you guys have noticed that. You probably just throw them away. A lot of these surveys, they put actual cash, $1 bill or a $2 bill. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've seen money.
I must not do the same.
You may just rip them up.
Yeah.
I've seen coins come in too. quarters.
But I have, through the surveys, I make sure I open them up. And once I open them up and I see that dollar, I'm obligated. They got me. So I have to fill them out. But I wouldn't want to do that for what we're looking at doing, but I think that there should be something to entice maybe our residents. Maybe we'll do 3 drawings, and I promise you I can go down to Central or Pat's Pizza or Minahane's, and they would donate the dinner for that person. So I don't think it'd be any cost to us to pull that off. Just give it some thought. So those were the 5 things that I kind of wanted to talk about. It's a general discussion. Is there anything that you guys want to bring up? Did I touch base with it all?
Quick, something's still coming down where the old Kmart's, is something still happening with that building?
I haven't spoke to anyone with Mr. Peters or the Cordish, Mr. Cordish about the Kmart building. The last time that I spoke to him, it was at Ollie's Bargain Store. I haven't confirmed that.
Second,
Now, Social Security office is moving
Read
back
that in
into
the
the
paper.
mall.
Yes, I read that.
the second, Arby's, they moving forward yet?
I haven't heard anything about the Arby's.
They're working on the
Arby's is
building.
working. They've got the permit and they're working.
I'm
I
not
was
gonna
gonna
ask it,
ask
that's just
if they-
make me relax. to be honest.
But they just started working on the building. I saw them yesterday, in fact, on the roof.
They've
So
been
do they
there
have a
for little
completion
bit.
date?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm not usually during the day, but I did.
They have a
see them.
completion date?
They originally said something about the end of January. I'm not sure.
This
you know,
time of year. weather.
Ollie's is what I've heard for Kmart, but that's been a while.
It
Haven't
has
got
been.
any update.
People asked me, that's why it just came to me, I couldn't.
Is there anything you can tell us about new businesses?
We've got a lot on Main Street.
Without,
The salon, the Ivy Salon, they opened. So they are open. She called me today. They're gonna have a grand opening in January, after the holidays.
and we got a new juice bar, I
A
said,
new T-bar called The Wave, past American Home and Hardware in the old Barbara Sly building. And then the Cecil Printing, where Whiskey Rose building was. And what else? The Teal Antler. Now that went okay, I heard.
I'm waiting to get down there because there's been a death in the family, and so that's on hold. But talking to Brian, he said he thinks there's at least 8 bathrooms, which is 40 points, which would be a whole nother major facility, so that should work.
Yeah, because he called me and said everything was okay.
Well, it
Yeah.
should be if that, I hadn't been down there because Jeremy's had a
that's
death.
a lot of action.
Yeah.
Well, what about the old Walmart? I don't see as many vehicles there. Are they out of there?
There's a dentist who's still in there and 2 other doctors. They pretty much threw everybody out that's associated with Dr. Oslam. They're getting estimates on costs to put a new roof on the building and do some other improvements at this point.
So who owns the building?
It's the bank,
Oh,
the
okay.
bank that held the mortgage.
And then the one they're doing across from the Llamas, where the Square Pizza was.
Yeah, the Italian, is it
The-
Italian?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're from Italy, they're very authentic,
They
and
were working
they're
yesterday.
putting a beautiful deck outside for dining. So, we got a lot going on.
See anything?
But you know, it's a unique building right in town that's been underused. Our former mayor commissioner office. I just thought somebody
know,
was bit.
Charlie, why someone doesn't take that for a restaurant, I'll never know.
Did Lee buy that or no?
I'm sorry?
Lee didn't buy that?
What you did one.
No,
Okay, he just took the other one.
yeah.
I thought he was going to get both of them.
Well, you know, I guess one other comment, of course, I think everyone realizes I like to go downtown on occasion, probably more occasions than I should, but Friday night, which is, I think, fantastic news for the town, and we are doing things, this just makes me feel that we're doing things right. I walked into Minahan's, and there was probably, well, let me start off by saying, I pretty much know everybody in the downtown area. But on Friday night, I saw at least 10 people at Minahan's that I did not know. I went to C3, and I probably saw 10 people I didn't know. Then I went over to the brewery, and I saw 10 people I didn't know. So just on Friday night, there was over 30 people that I'd never seen in downtown Elkton before, which was wonderful. Now, I think there's some reasons for that. I think there's more action happening, more things for people to do, and but I think the word's kind of getting out that everything what we've been trying to accomplish. You know, we had for years, and listen, I was part of it. People were worried about coming downtown. They were worried about being harassed. They were worried about not being safe, and we have eliminated that. I feel so comfortable to say there's no issues in our community and in the heart of our town, none whatsoever. And I welcome people to come down and be part of it.
And Reverend Mike is trying to do a good job with the homeless people that he feels. He had a banquet a couple of weeks ago, and I guess he raised $45,000. That doesn't include
Wow.
expenses. So there's a number of people that actually support what he does out there.
Well, very good. Well, any other questions, comments? Ma'am, you've got the floor. I know you had, I ran into you yesterday, and you were talking to Michelle, and
Yes.
tell us what you're here for.
Okay, well, my name is Ann Shriver, and I'm one of those, what do we call them? Donut holes?
You've got an enclave.
Anyway, I always say I live in Elkton, and I've lived here about 11 years, but I live on Melbourne Boulevard, and some of the people on my street have the mailbox out front, which makes me know, oh, they really live in Elkton. I don't. I don't know, my neighbor used to brag, I told the mayor yesterday, my neighbor who had lived here since the 1960s, and he used to brag that when I first moved here, I'd say, what does all this mean? He said, oh, in 1962, we voted that we were not part of Alton. And he was always so happy about that. And I said, Joe, I don't understand why you're so happy about that. He said, oh, it was the right thing to do. Our taxes are lower. We don't have to do this. We don't have to do that. And I'm like, duh, I don't think that was a smart move back in 1965. Anyway, as I think I said, my name is Ann Shriver, and I've lived here about 10 or 11 years. And I like it here, but I really do feel the difference. I don't feel like I don't get to vote for a mayor. There's just, you know, it's kind of funny. And I asked the mayor yesterday if because I lived adjacent to the school that would get me in, and that doesn't get me in. So where I lived before and all during my life, I'm a former teacher, but I've really been involved in libraries. I used to be a storyteller, and when my husband and I lived in South Carolina, I was instrumental in a very tiny town, very tiny county that we lived in, very close to Augusta, Georgia, in having actual library built. And we moved here in 2007, and in 2009, which I didn't realize this until yesterday, a gentleman in Wisconsin started a program in honor of his mother, who was really a book person. And he started a program where and I'll pass this around so you can look at the pictures, where people, even in their own yard, would build what looks like a little birdhouse. Okay, and you can just be very eclectic about anything. I looked online yesterday because you can actually go buy one of these little free libraries. And then they might put it in their front yard. And just things like that. And you fill it with books, and there's a little, you turn the knob, there's a glass front on it, and then people are able to walk by and pick up a book. You don't need a library card, you don't pay overdue fines, there are no CDs or videos or anything like that, it's just books. And the hope is that you return that book or you put in another book, and you know that each person that goes along does this. Right now, there are 75,000 little free libraries in the world. And so when I read this paper yesterday, or the day before, we get the Philadelphia paper all the time, I thought, oh man, that's really a cool idea. So I went to our library, which I think is a fantastic library, and I went over there and I talked to them, and they had on a map that we do have one of these little free libraries in Elkton. So they gave me the address. So I was up and down streets that I'd never been up and down in 11 years, but I finally found 201 Booth Street. Do you know what's at 201 Booth Street?
It's a vacant building.
The
At the
Board
Board
of
of Ed
Education building.
At the Board of Ed building.
Yeah, the Board of Ed building. So it's got a name, I don't know.
The
So-
George Washington Library.
Yes, right, okay, so I go in
It's
and
201.
I talk to them, and nobody knew anything about any little free library there. And I rode all around the building and everything, so there's nothing there. So I have to go back to the library now and tell them that it's not there. And she did think there was one in Chesapeake City. So bottom line is, I came here because I was sure that you should talk to mayors about things like that. But I talked first with Michelle, and then the mayor came in and they invited me to come here today. And, it just seems like we're doing so much downtown that it would be a neat idea for Elkton. And, if you want to give that some thought.
That's very unique.
These are some pictures and an article. I'll leave this with you. And I did go online and run, break down a lot of the things. There are grant opportunities through like Costco or Target. Another thing they mentioned is like, how newspapers would have these circulation boxes when people could buy a newspaper right off the corner. Some people have configured those, but mostly they tend to look like birdhouses. But it says like, all you need is a box of whole and some books. So anyway, I thought it'd be a neat idea. So please.
I've read that.
Oh, okay.
We had actually discussed it at the Elkton Chamber and Alliance about
It is coming.
2 years ago, because there was one that was give a book, get a book, and different names towns had. We had someone, because there is a gently used bookstore downtown. I don't know if you were aware of it. It's in the Powell and the Page. And
Yes, I guess I can. Yes.
And you could
Okay.
get, like I could get my grandson's books that are almost brand new for
Yeah,
$2.
Right.
So we had a little bit of turmoil there when it came down to it. But it's funny, when Michelle told us about this yesterday, my assistant thought it'd be great to do in some of the low to moderate income housing developments to put these. And there are several where they could go.
Well, because in my drive around Booth Street, I could see a lot of housing. Okay,
Right.
and I thought that, because then I thought maybe that's where this one was. The library thinks it's here, but I drove around and couldn't find one. But, it's just something to think about.
I could bring it back up again now and see.
I think it's interesting
Yeah.
concept.
It is, it really is.
Well, thank you so much for bringing it
Sit
in.
around down in that little square there, so.
Yeah, we have.
Thank you for listening to me.
Thank you.
Okay.
And we are going to check to see if that, her residence next to the school would qualify to bring
Are
her
we
in.
really?
Yeah.
Here's my
Can you
name.
take a look at
Okay.
that? Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I'll give it to you too. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Shriver.
Thank you, guys, very much.
All right. Katie, the floor is yours. It would be like a press conference. I'll stand up here. Can you, you want to ask any questions?
About New Year's Eve, are you proposing to make it a holiday just this year or from here on?
From my position is just this year, yes. And it's because it fell on a Monday.
Yeah, calendar years are always.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Very good. Well, it is 1 o'clock. This meeting is adjourned.
One sentence, one,
One sentence? Oh, well, I don't like to. How do I really Okay, so how do you select small businesses?
We put it out to all our members.
Have you seen, I've seen it right here, those.
Is there anything you want to say about what?
Shuffle books over in the guy's yard. Have you seen any of those? Yeah.
I've known.
I know where a couple are,
When he was here, and he was one of the original